Greetings, it's Montessori Monday, and what I want to talk about today is parent-teacher conferences in a Montessori setting. So Montessori schools are very different from a traditional school or something maybe you experienced as a student. So I think it's really important that we learn some of the philosophy of the classroom so that when you go into your conference, you know what to hear and you're not stuck on some of the language that is used in the classroom. So a lot of the things that you will talk about in your conference will be surrounded all the subject areas. So the first subject area is practical life. And practical life in the classroom is things like pouring, spooning, serving food for yourself, preparing food, maybe you're chopping cucumbers or slicing apples. But practical life is the skills and the activities that allow for a child to learn practical skills that they will apply in their life. Things like how to carry a chair to a table where you need to sit, or sweeping crumbs that have spilled, or wiping liquid that has spilled. So practical life. And these things are really important. It seems kind of like chores and maybe you don't see the real value of it, but especially for the youngest children and the olders too, it's really important that they are engaging with these things because they are building their concentration, their coordination, their sense of order, and their independence. And these are the things that are really going to build those building blocks for larger academic type works in their future. The older kids go back to it too. It's a centering activity and it kind of realign those things for them as they're working on more challenging, longer work. The second area is sensorial, and this is unique to Montessori. It's such a wonderful space in the classroom. Sensorial discriminates the senses and refines the child's sense. So it's more than the 5 senses we know. There are 11 that Montessori incorporated. Things like the chromatic sense, the sense of different colors, or the baric sense, which is your sense of recognizing weight, light and heavy. The thermic sense, the feeling of cold and hot, many things. So this area provides these beautiful materials that were designed by Maria Montessori to help the child have the experience of discriminating and noticing differences in things and refining those senses so that they can be aware and make comparisons and understand differences. This area directly translates to math. So the next area we'll talk about is math. Math concepts range from counting all the way to division. In the 3 to 6 classroom, there's so much opportunity for math growth at your child's own level, what they're interested in and what they're prepared for. And it's beautiful. In my classrooms, I had seen 5-year-olds doing long division. It's wonderful. It's really an awesome opportunity. If you haven't seen Montessori math in action, ask if your teacher could maybe send some videos so that you can see what your child is working on, because it'll blow your mind. And you'll wish that you had learned math this way. In the math area, there are concrete materials that represent these abstract ideas of math. And so these things blend from that sensorial area into more mathematical concepts. The next area is language. And a lot of people are like, oh, Montessori kids, they read really early, right? That can be true. Every child is different. But one of the main reasons is because in the language area, you work on the phoneme or the sound of the letter so that you have phonemic awareness of a instead of a, or k instead of c. They're learning the sounds that go with those letters so that they can start to blend those and prepare themselves for reading. But the language area goes way beyond just reading. Writing is really important, and learning how to write the letters and understand what the letters are and what they sound like. There's also things like matching and patterning and making connections between like and different so that you can prepare for the patterns of reading. So language is huge. Building vocabulary is such a really important piece of the Montessori experience. And then you have the cultural area, and it kind of encompasses a lot. There's botany, there's biology, there's chemistry, and this area is really unique to every classroom and each teacher, but the main ideas are learning about the parts of different things, which also builds vocabulary, and allowing for the child to take some of those really big interests like dinosaurs or the planets and learn facts about them and understand the physical world in a way that is directed by their own interest. And teachers will observe what the children in the classroom are interested in and provide those materials to support those interests. So those are the 5 main areas, and there may be more specific things. Your child's teacher will probably also talk about social emotional development, and especially in a fall conference, you'll hear a lot about that. Because it's really important that your child can speak for themselves and regulate their emotions and have the tools that they need to feel safe and secure before they can move on to learning academic concepts. You might also hear a lot about grace and courtesy, ways that your child is interacting with other children in the space. A 3 to 6-year-old classroom is a wonderful space for an older child to be a role model for a younger child and really have a leadership opportunity. And a younger child can have an older one they look up to as a model for these wonderful things that they're learning in the space, not just the teachers. So you might hear about that too. These concepts are broad, and this was just a very boiled down version of them. If you have more questions, I'd love to answer it. You can also reach out to your child's teacher, but that's a little bit of what you will learn to expect from a parent-teacher conference. I also have a blog on parent-teacher conferences and a handout that you can print out as a worksheet so you can work through some of the questions you have beforehand and take notes on those 5 areas as you're in the conference. So I hope that this worked out for you. Have a beautiful day. Talk to you later.